Hello, my name is Alexia Shepherd, and get ready because you're about to chat with Alexia. We have got to talk about this. Now, we have covered, I wanted to say a myriad, but not quite a myriad. Also, I've got my drink for the day. This is a Coke Zero. I'm a Coke Zero girl, I'm not a Diet Coke girl. Very divisive groups. I'm sorry. I just think Diet Coke tastes like battery acid, and Coke Zero just isn't that bad. I drink Coke Zero because, as you guys know, I'm trying to like watch my calorie intake, and it's 0 calories and it's very good. Like, obviously it doesn't taste like the real deal, but it's good. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about something personal. I want to talk to you guys about how hard it is being a black girl in theater. Now that might sound obvious. That might sound very like no duh, Alexia. Like, yeah, it's hard being a black woman, period. It's hard being black just in general, but in theater it's just a very unique kind of experience. Or maybe it isn't. Like, this is kind of opening up the conversation, like, in different fields. What is it like to be a black physician, a black teacher? My mom knows a lot about that. What is it like to be a black orthodontist? Like, you just never know. But I'm speaking for us theater girls. And I'm gonna try and take you through my own experiences. Chronologically, when I do these videos, I run off at the mouth. I don't plan what I'm going to say because then it comes out like robotic. So I just like run off. And I'm gonna try to do it as chronologically as I can. But before we get started, I just wanna remind you that you can find me on Instagram at Alexia Shep, on Twitter as Alexia Shep, and on TikTok as Alexia Shep, because who doesn't love TikTok? So I wanted to do theater at a very young age. I tell this story a lot. It's one of my first memories. I was younger and I was watching an episode of Full House. Amazing show. Like, that was back when, I don't know if they still do it now. I don't really watch a lot of cable, but Nick at Night would do like reruns of Full House a lot. Like, obviously I was gonna say at nighttime. And there was one episode, I don't remember if it's like when Jesse has the twins. I don't think it is. I think Jesse was like babysitting or something, like some other kid, and Michelle's like looking on, because you know they have like that special bond, whatever, and Michelle looks on and she like goes into this whole like monologue basically, and she goes, "That's my song," like, because he starts like singing like a lullaby to the other baby. And I remember being younger, and as soon as I saw that, I was probably like 4 or 5, guys. Like, I'm not kidding. And I remember I went right back to my room. I like ran back. I recited as much as the monologue that I could remember. And I just remember thinking, this is really fun. And my mom, I was in the car with my mom, and I remember telling my mom, I want to do what Michelle does. Like, Michelle on the TV, like, I want to be like Michelle. And she obviously understood, like, oh, she means acting. My parents didn't really know much about acting. My mom is a tomboy. She was like a sports person, and so is my sister. Like, they're very like athletic. It skipped me. It definitely skipped, and I'm kind of thankful, because I'm just not into that kind of thing. So she didn't really know much about it, but she took me to this acting school in a neighboring town, and this was kind of like my first taste of it. I don't remember there being a lot of white people in the class. Like, it was like black run. There's a lot of black students. I don't remember ever really sticking out at that point in my life. And so, you know, I took ballet, I took tap. I didn't take dance class for that long because I told my mom that the stockings were too itchy. I'm so mad she let me quit too. She let me quit over that. I was like, I'll get used to it. Like, imagine like being able to dance. Like, that would be awesome. But that didn't last. But of course I did the acting, thing like forever, you know what I mean? Because of that, I didn't really feel too weird. I remember my very first role, we were doing kind of like a Lion King Junior, and I was Timon, you guys. I don't have any pictures though, but it was like my favorite thing, and I just remember like thriving. And then for a few years there, I kind of took a break from the acting school, and then it closed down. Like, it closed down when I was in like, I want to say like 2nd grade. It closed down, so I didn't really have anywhere else to go. And I remember I got to like about 5th or 6th grade, and the summer was coming around, and I was like, Mom, like, I haven't done this acting thing in like so long. I miss it. Like, let's find us a camp, like, for me to go to, like a drama camp. And whenever I'm having my most fun in theater, especially in college, like when I was in college, I was like, oh my god, that's so weird to say, like when I was in college, it often felt like a labor of love. Like it was just like very tiring. It was very late nights for little credits. Like it was like just a lot. And whenever I would have my most fun, I would describe it as being in drama camp, because at drama camp it's just fun. Like I don't ever remember feeling like really too pressured, you know, to be like the best in drama camp. Like I remember wanting to be good, but I didn't really doubt myself back then. And so it was just like very much a good time. I go to this camp at this theater that I would become very involved in for the rest of my life. I had a blast there. I think I was the only Black person there at the time. It was very like white. I was a fly in the buttermilk, you guys. Like, it was crazy. And I remember when you're that age, like, you don't really, I don't know about you guys, but like when I was that age, I didn't really think much of what people said to me. Like this one girl would be like, oh my God, it's my little chocolate cupcake. And I remember being like, that's weird that she would say that, but like, okay, like I guess like people just have like weird nicknames here. I didn't think too much of it. Like if someone said that to me now, I would be like, sister. But I really like, I did not think much of it back in the day. So I was like, whatever, like it's not a big deal. And I remember my dad was like, that annoys me that this happens to you. Like my dad really didn't really like the theater that I was at for like a long time. And now I see why. But there was that. And I remember one year they put this new lady in charge. I'm gonna call her Hilly Holbrook. That's what I'm gonna call her. So Hilly Holbrook, no, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna call her Hilly because she reminds me of that character. We got this new director at the theater. I joined the troupe there, like the young adult theater troupe there, and I really enjoyed it for the most part. And then we got Hilly as a director. Now, the ironic thing about Hilly is that I'm pretty sure if not whole, she was half Latina. She definitely was Latina. I don't know if it was half or whole though. So I thought like, oh yay, like another minority, like great. And at this point there was another Black person in our troupe, but he was a boy. And everyone like, I might get in hot water. No, I don't care, I'm saying it. People fetishize Black men in like a sexual way, and Black women, it's kind of like the opposite. Like Black men are like, ooh, a Black guy, but me, it was like, oh. That's like how I felt. And if you're white and you're watching this and you don't treat people this way, like obviously I'm not talking to you, but if you do, I'm honestly not trying to shame you. I'm trying to have you look at your behavior differently. Like be careful what you say to just Black people in general, because we're people. Like don't make us feel like some kind of odd one out. It's not fun for us. It's not fun for you. But they really liked him. A lot. They loved him. Me, on the other hand, I was just kind of the weird Black girl, so I didn't really have that many like opportunities as he did. And he was a wonderful singer, like better singer than me. So like, yeah, he got those opportunities, whatever. But one summer, I don't think I'm getting ahead of myself. So Hilly was the director, right? The whole year with her was a little weird. I didn't really like her, but I was like, whatever. Like back in those days, I was just like very naive. Like I was just like, whatever, like she just probably just has those like favorites that she really likes, whatever. I'm just not one of them. And now I realize why. But one year we had a summer camp. This is like a hard story for me to tell. So we had summer camp, right? And this camp, she was like, okay, I'm gonna give everybody like a solo song to learn. Hold on, sorry guys, I'm late for my booty blender. She was like, I'm gonna give everybody like a solo song to learn, and you're gonna come in and sing it. And she literally, and I mean like quite literally, gave everybody a song out of their range. Like it was the stupidest thing. Like she gave all the sopranos these deep, I don't know if she was trying to like train us to get out of our comfort zone or what, but she legit was like giving everybody just songs that weren't in their range and like not helping us. Like we just had to like go home and like do it ourselves. She's giving everybody these cute songs like, you're gonna get a whole new world, you're gonna get like just like the cutest songs you can think of. It comes to me, right? And she gives me Can't Help Loving That Man of Mine from Showboat. Now, if you've ever seen Showboat, that song is literally sung by the Black servant in that movie. Can you, like, I literally went home and looked it up and cried. Like, I was like, are you kidding me? And I had to, like, go in and sing it. And, like, I really hope I don't cry during this thing. But it was like one of the worst moments of my life. Like I remember being like, first of all, I can't sing high. So she's literally setting me up for failure. She gave me a slave song to sing. Like I was like, are you kidding me? It was just when I say it was ridiculous. And I feel like people that don't understand are gonna watch it and be like, I think you're reading too much into it. Let me tell you something. Let me give you a little history lesson. Black people, we have not been able to control how we looked in the media until very recent years, okay? The first black shows that went up in America weren't done by black people. They were blackface, baby. Like, it was like the first movie shown to like a wide audience in the White House was Birth of a Nation. One of the most racist movies on the planet. So it's like we are very sensitive about how we're portrayed in media. And we have a right to, because we didn't ever have control over it before. One of my biggest pet peeves just as a black woman is being put in a box. I feel like we're not allowed the complexities that other women get, especially white women. Like we're not allowed like to be like mad. And I know, like, I was like, oh my God, they always think they're not allowed to be mad. But if I had an attitude, like, it would be a very different thing. I wouldn't be seen as passionate. It would be angry. You know what I mean? Like, if I ever get mad, no one really takes it seriously. They're always like, oh my God, of course. Like, she's got an attitude. And so I often never felt like in theater I was ever able to voice, at least in my younger years in theater, I was ever able to voice my opinion about anything. And I felt like if I didn't, like, people kind of looked at me to be like the voice for all black people everywhere because I was the only black person. And I'm like, no, like, I don't know. It really hurt, you guys. Like, in the very next year, we wrote our own show. First of all, the oldest person in that troupe at that time was probably like, what, 18, 19? We should not have been writing our own show. Any idea I threw out, cut. They didn't like it. In the show, they made me, I knew it. I literally told my friends at the time, I was like, I promise you there's 2 black people in this troupe, me and a boy. They're either gonna make us brother and sister or a couple, and they made us a couple. Our names were Michael and Janet. I can't make this up. Like, I can't make this up. The only songs I was able to sing, which, oh my God, it was cram full of songs. It was probably the worst original show I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, imagine like a garbage fire show written by teenagers, like a straight play. And then jamming as many songs as you can. And that wasn't even our doing. That was, I was about to say her real name. That was Hilly's doing. Hilly was like, we need this popular song and this popular song and blah, blah. And the only song that I sang was River Deep Mountain High, the Glee version, which I love that version. Like, don't get me wrong. Also, I'm getting really angry and ahead of myself and I'm forgetting to even do my makeup. Let me stop. But I sang River Deep Mountain High, and I have mentioned before, I'm an alto. I'm not a soprano. She gave me the freaking slave song that was high as I don't know what, and because in River Deep Mountain High, the Glee version, Mercedes sings the high part, she gave me the high part. Or she thought Mercedes sung the high part, right? I go to her because the girl I was singing with, white as snow, right? She was a great soprano. Like, she could sing really high. That was like what she was known for. Like, if we ever needed a soprano, we'd be like, her. She's great. So literally, you guys, and this was also one of the worst moments of my life. Some of the most racist moments in my entire life happened in theaters, which sucks. Like, it really sucks. I went to Hilly and I was like, Hilly, I don't think I can sing this part. Like, I don't really have like, and like, I feel like you can know this from hearing me. I don't have like that soulful voice. Like, I don't have like that southern like gospel voice. And that's like what she needed from me. And I was like, Hilly, I can't sing this. Like, I can't sing high, blah, 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 blah. And she looks at me and goes, I mean, don't all of y'all sing the same way? And I've had people hear me. I've told people about this one before. And somebody that was in that theater with me, before I mentioned that part was like, I don't know if she was being racist. You don't know? You don't know. She gave me a slave song to sing, but you don't know? If that's right, you don't know. But when she flats out said that, they're like, okay, I can't deny that. Like, I feel like people just want to see the best in people. So it's like, oh, I don't know. But like, you can't deny that. Like that was racist. Like, I literally was like, I just can't, like, I don't know if I can do it anymore. And we had to rehearse the song right after that. And of course, you know that part in River Deep Mountain High where she's like, I love you, baby. Like, she sings so high. I could not sing like that. So of course I had to push through, right? Everyone's doing choreography behind me. I'm like trying to do it. I'm like, ah! And of course it sounds horrible. Like, it sounds terrible. And the show was opening in probably like a week. And I look out in the audience and Hilly's just like she looks like stressed out that I can't sing it, even though I told you I can't do this. Our assistant director was like behind her, like massaging her shoulders, like, it's gonna be okay, Hilly. No, like I saw it and I could not help myself at that point because it was just a combination of like what happened in summer camp, her assigning me a role of Michael and Janet, that was a couple, and my whole character was just like getting broken up. Like, that was literally the whole thing. Just every passive aggressive thing I'd heard from everyone, calling me their chocolate cupcake. One time we were talking about church and this girl ended up becoming a good friend of mine, which now I look back, I'm like, sis, why were you friends with this girl after she said that? Which I don't know if she's watching this, but girl, I don't know if you remember you saying, we're not friends anymore, but girl, I don't know if you remember you saying this, but I remember it damn well, okay? I remember it well. We were at rehearsal and we were singing some kind of gospel song or something. And I remember being like, oh yeah, I think a lot of people like sing this at church. And that girl in front of everybody goes, well, we don't go to the same church as you. And that was like one time where I got mad in front of everyone. I was like, why did you say that? Like, that's not cool. Like, I got mad in front of everyone and everyone was acting like I was the one that was crazy for thinking that. No, like... I just remember being like, okay, I can't take this anymore. And so I ran away, like, as we're singing River Deep Mountain High. And I literally, like, start crying. I, like, go away. And there were some really nice people in that troupe. I'm not saying that everybody in the troupe was racist, but, like, a lot of them were. And I think we were all at an age where you're just kind of following what your parents are doing and saying. And that seemed to be, like, the norm. And nobody was really calling it out. Like, nobody was being like, hey, guys, maybe we shouldn't be making comments like this to Alexia or behind Alexia's back because she's the only one here. And like, well, first of all, it's not right. It's not right. She already feels like she doesn't belong because these kids had been performing together since they were like very young. I was also new. So it was just like, I don't know, it just made me feel like a token a lot. And I often felt like, which Black women, if you're watching this, let me know, I felt like the only leverage I had was tokenizing myself. Like, that was the only way I could really get attention. So I just let it happen because I felt like, okay, they like this. Like, this is what I need to be doing. Obviously, I know better now, but back in the day, like, I did not embrace myself as much as I should have. And so I decided... I was like, you know what? After that show, I don't really want to be in this troupe anymore. I don't want to be in this troupe anymore. So I ended up joining another troupe with this man that I met at previous drama camps. I'm gonna call him Mr. Sal. So Mr. Sal was like really nice. He was like older. Like, I used to love working with him at summer camp. I never really got, I never really felt like I didn't belong in his troops. So I was like, okay, this is like a match made in heaven. Great. Well, I joined this troupe, right? And he was writing original stuff too. This was like, I really like, at this point I'm in like 10th grade and my high school was not doing that good theater wise, which now they are, and I'm so proud of them. They're amazing. They're amazing kids. But back in the day, like, we didn't have the support we did, and I still wanted to be involved. So I did that and community theater just to, like, keep my bearings up. Everything was going well. I really got along with the kids there. They never really said anything crazy to me. Not that I remember. They were very nice, but it's time for our Christmas show. And he sort of did this like slapstick thing where like different crazy characters would come out. And he asked me to do a Medea character. Now, I grew up on Tyler Perry. I did. I used to love the Medea movies, blah, 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 blah. But Medea movies are low-key minstrelsy. They really are. And it sucks. Like, I think it's good that he did the last movie because I think it did more harm to the community than than positive. I think it's great that he gave Black actors like all these jobs, and he's still involved, like he's still doing work. But back in the day, like I just felt like that was all people really knew of Tyler Perry, at least Black or white people. Like I would meet a lot of white people that are like, I love Tyler Perry, but all they could name was the Madea movies. Like they didn't really watch like Daddy's Little Girls, they didn't watch anything like that. Not saying everybody, please don't come for me if you have, like I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people. And I think it perpetuated stereotypes, those movies. And so I was like, I literally told him, because I told my, my friends about it, and they're like, if you don't feel comfortable, like tell him, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable doing this character. So I go up to him and I'm like, hey, like, Mr. Sal, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy for this opportunity you're giving me, but I'm not really comfortable doing the Madea character. And y'all, when I tell you, he got so mad. He was so mad at me. Like, he was so mad, and he made me do it anyway. And I didn't do it well. Like, I literally was like, I don't want to do this, and I didn't do it well. And he called that burning a bridge. He literally said later on, like, he was like, as soon as you did that, I knew you weren't the girl I met when she was like 13. And I was like, yeah, I don't let people just get away with saying whatever they want to me. That's racist. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do roles that I think are putting me in a box. Like, sorry. I don't know. It's like very hard. And so literally after that, we had that rift, but we ended up being okay for the rest of the year. And it turned out that he was taking Hilly's job at the theater I was at before. Like, Hilly was like quitting. She had like 400 kids. So she was like, I'm gonna go raise my kids. And so Mr. Sal took her job. With Mr. Sal there, I did, like, he never really made me do anything like that ever again. It kind of felt like a better environment than what I had at his other place. That's not to say that nothing was ever said to me. And me and the girl that made the church comment ended up becoming really good friends. I think she realized, like, that wasn't cool, like, blah, 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 blah. We're not friends anymore, but, I don't hold any ill will towards her. Like, we were all very young. I was like, I'm not a type of person that I just, like, hold people, like, I don't hold grudges a lot. I do now, but not back in the day. Back in the day, I was really sweet. It turns out that apparently me and Mr. Sal, like, weren't cool, because when I applied to go to the college I went to, he told me that the college wasn't worth anything. He said, if I were to put you at any position, it would be stage manager, even though, and there's nothing wrong with being a stage manager. I never stage managed in my life. So he was basically saying that as like a jab at me. And he was like, you don't ever do any direction anybody tells you to do. And it was all out of nowhere. And he was like, do you remember like the Madea thing? And I asked you, and I was like, yeah, and I didn't want to do it. And he refused to write me a letter of recommendation, and when I say I ripped that letter out of his hand so fast, I was like, I'm never coming back here. And I kept my word. I don't think I've been back at that theater since. And that really like hurt my feelings, because he was basically saying, if you don't do what, like, these roles that really make you feel uncomfortable, you're not gonna be good at theater. I've mentioned on here, I had a bad high school experience. Like, it was not fun, and it just like added to that for me. Like, it was just a very hard time. And I got to college and I was like, oh yes, it's gonna be so much better. Nope. Nope. So when I first went to my college, there weren't many Black girls there. I want to say it was like 5 of us total. Throughout the years, there were more and more Black kids coming in, and we were so excited, but you never really saw that reflected on the stage. Everything was very white. It was always the same people, and it just like sucked. It made us feel like, why are we even here then? And I remember my was it my freshman? I think it was. There was a girl that used to go there. She was Black, and she was like, I tell myself all the time. And she was like older than me, so she had been at the school for a while. She's like, I tell myself all the time that I should have gone to an HBCU. If you don't know what an HBCU, it's a historically Black college or university. And I remember thinking, why? Like, this is one of the best programs in the Southeast, like blah, 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 blah. And she just said, you'll see. And I saw what she meant by it. And I can't imagine, because like with us there, like the years I was there, like the issue was brought to light. Like, people were mad. Like, the student body, Black, white, whoever, we were all mad that like we were seeing this happen. And we had professors that I remember I took stage makeup, and my professor always says, every time he teaches his class, he would say, the Black, or would he say Black? He would pass it off as African American to make you think he wasn't racist. He would be like, the African American colors, they just always make me hungry. It's always something like cocoa, almond, chocolate. That was something that a college professor was saying to every new generation coming in, and it just wasn't cool with me. It wasn't cool. And I remember the costume designer at the school, we had to write our hair type down, and any black person, she'd be like nappy, or like if it was a black girl, she would do what a lot of people call a black scent. They're like, oh girl, what's going on? Then like try to be like sassy, and I'm like, girl, like we're normal people, like just be yourself. And if anyone had to wear a wig and it was a black person, they'd be like, oh, I'm sure you're used to that. You just, like, being in the theater already is so hard, and casting calls are so discouraging because it's literally putting you in a box. But just being a black woman in theater, it's just hard because you're a lot of things that are reflected in the script, people reflect in real life because that's our culture. I remember having a lot of friendships where I felt like I was just the black sidekick and they were the main character, and it just like wasn't fulfilling me. And like I just felt like that a lot of ways, and I think that the people that I was friends with would think like, oh, she's not gonna be like a main in this group, like she's the only black girl. I remember in middle school, this one girl told me, oh, you're like the token black girl of the group, and that was the first time I'd ever heard that. It's just been like a very bumpy ride for me in general as a black girl, and I'm sure every black girl watching this, at least in America, can agree with what I'm saying. But theater was just something different, and I think it honestly did put a sour taste in my mouth about the craft for a long time. I remember thinking, if I'm just gonna get some slave song from Showboat, why am I doing this? Like, you're not gonna give me like an ingenue song. It's just gonna be like something sassy because apparently we all sing the same way. And I thought it was important to talk about this because I think every minority group's experiences are different, especially in theater. Like, it's pretty different. But there's just something to be said about the black woman's experience just in general. No matter what you are, though, you need to be thinking about how you're treating people of a different race, your same race. And I don't want anybody to be scared to bring up the issues that they have. That was me. And I think back on middle school me, and I get sad because I'm like, why didn't you speak up more, little girl? Like it can be nerve-wracking, and I just wanted to be accepted, you know what I mean? And there's a phrase that has become my mantra lately, especially in recent years, and that is risk in service of authenticity, which basically means I'm willing to put myself on the line and become like the outcast, the angry girl, the girl that's being too sensitive, and risk of me standing up for what I believe in and not taking anything less than what I believe I deserve. I know that this chatting with Lexi, I usually am like very like jokey and happy, and I'm still that girl. But this is something that I felt was important to share, especially because a majority of people that watch my channel, people I know that are also in theater. And I just want you guys to know like what we experience. And that's not to say like, oh, we're victims. No way. We're really strong. We just aren't superhuman the way that the media kind of portrays us to be, the strong black woman. There's nothing wrong with being a strong black woman, but we hurt sometimes, and the things that you do have an effect on us. We're not just these superhuman, inspirational beings all the time. We cry, we have mental health issues, but we're the least group treated for it. Just got something to say. I just want you to remember you're a doll, and showbirds are led by the stars. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Mm-hmm.